chicken.
The Best Western Ram Kota Hotel in Rapid City supports all South Dakota student athletes and their families. They are conveniently located off Interstate 90, close to downtown and minutes from the beautiful Black Hills. The Ram Kota offers sports and family-friendly rates. Guests can relax for free in the indoor water park. They have 36,000 square feet of banquet and meeting space, and the award-winning Minerva's Restaurant and Bar is located on site. Best Western Ram Kota welcomes everyone to beautiful Rapid City, South Dakota. The Best Western Ram Kota Hotel in
Life's an adventure filled with excitement, challenges, and achievement. Farmers Union Insurance can provide you the safety net to keep you moving toward your goals and enjoying life's rewards. With multiple locations across the state, Farmers Union Insurance agents provide quick quotes and professional services you deserve. Since 1948, Farmers Union Insurance has focused on insuring the people of South Dakota. From the most remote quarter section to the busiest intersection, Farmers Union Insurance, insuring a brighter tomorrow. Life's
Hey, Doug, how'd that discount double check work out for you?
Oh, that was great. I wish I had double checked before discussing that play earlier.
Did anybody catch that play?
No.
Okay, we're going to act like we're debating about it. You two do the bouncy football thing. You rub your head like it's a real tough call. No, that looks like you're having a migraine. I'm going to break the huddle confidently, and we're going to call it incomplete.
Your mic's on!
First down! Thank you!
70,000 people were there.
20 million more watching at home.
Got it!
Save big with State Farm. When it comes to your money, who do you trust? A big city bank or a locally owned bank staffed by your neighbors and friends? A bank that offers home loans with no origination fees and a wide variety of accounts, including checking accounts built specifically to help community youth develop financial skills. When it comes to your money, trust Farmers State Bank of Canton. Visit CantonFarmersStateBank.com or call 605-987-2671. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stitches in downtown Canton is your source for Seahawks fan gear and custom apparel. Whether your team needs new uniforms for the upcoming season or your employees need new apparel for the workplace, Stitches can outfit them with several design options that include embroidery, screen printing, and sublimation. Design custom gear the way you want. Stop in to Stitches at 113 East 5th Street in Canton and check out all your apparel options. No order too big or too small. That's Stitches, 113 East 5th Street in Canton. The top two questions facing retirees are, will I have enough money in retirement and will my money last? The way you set up your retirement can impact the quality of life you have for years to come. The team at Burley Financial provides individualized retirement plans to help you take the worry out of retirement. Call them at 605-987-2117 or find them online at burleyfinancial.com. Securities offered through First Heartland Capital Incorporated, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services offered through First Heartland Consultants Incorporated, Burley Financial, not affiliated with First Heartland Capital Incorporated. The top two questions.
Chicken, bacon, ranch on a pretzel crust. Buffalo chicken on a pretzel crust. Even pepperoni sausage, put it on a pretzel crust. Sweet swine, prairie, bronco beef, pizza ranch, pizza on a pretzel crust. Yes indeed, now on a buffet at Pizza Ranch. Chicken.
The Best Western Ram Kota Hotel in Rapid City supports all South Dakota student athletes and their families. They are conveniently located off Interstate 90, close to downtown and minutes from the beautiful Black Hills. The Ram Kota offers sports and family-friendly rates. Guests can relax for free in the indoor water park. They have 36,000 square feet of banquet and meeting space, and the award-winning Minerva's Restaurant and Bar is located on site. Best Western Ram Kota welcomes everyone to beautiful Rapid City, South Dakota. The Best Western Ram Kota Hotel in
Life's an adventure filled with excitement, challenges, and achievement. Farmers Union Insurance can provide you the safety net to keep you moving toward your goals and enjoying life's rewards. With multiple locations across the state, Farmers Union Insurance agents provide quick quotes and professional services you deserve. Since 1948, Farmers Union Insurance has focused on insuring the people of South Dakota. From the most remote quarter section to the busiest intersection, Farmers Union Insurance, insuring a brighter tomorrow. Life's
Hey, Doug, how'd that discount double check work out for you?
Oh, that was great. Great. I wish I had double checked before discussing that play earlier.
Did anybody catch that play?
No.
Okay, we're going to act like we're debating about it. You two do the bouncy football thing. You rub your head like it's a real tough call. No, that looks like you're having a migraine. I'm going to break the huddle confidently, and we're going to call it incomplete.
Mic's on! First down! Thank you!
70,000 people were there.
20 million more watching at home.
Got it!
Save big with State Farm. When it comes to your money, who do you trust? A big city bank or a locally owned bank staffed by your neighbors and friends? A bank that offers home loans with no origination fees and a wide variety of accounts, including checking accounts built specifically to help community youth develop financial skills. When it comes to your money, trust Farmers State Bank of Canton. Visit CantonFarmersStateBank.com or call 605-987-2671. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stitches in downtown Canton is your source for Seahawks fan gear and custom apparel. Whether your team needs new uniforms for the upcoming season or your employees need new apparel for the workplace, Stitches can outfit them with several design options that include embroidery, screen printing, and sublimation. Design custom gear the way you want. Stop in to Stitches at 113 East 5th Street in Canton and check out all your apparel options. No order too big or too small. That's Stitches, 113 East 5th Street in Canton. The top two questions facing retirees are, will I have enough money in retirement and will my money last? The way you set up your retirement can impact the quality of life you have for years to come. The team at Burley Financial provides individualized retirement plans to help you take the worry out of retirement. Call them at 605-987-2117 or find them online at burleyfinancial.com. Securities offered through First Heartland Capital Incorporated, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services offered through First Heartland Consultants Incorporated, Burley Financial, not affiliated with First Heartland Capital Incorporated. The top two questions.
Chicken, bacon, ranch on a pretzel crust. Buffalo chicken on a pretzel crust. Even pepperoni, sausage, put it on a pretzel crust. Sweet swine, prairie, bronco beef, pizza ranch, pizza on a pretzel crust. Yes, indeed. Now on a buffet at Pizza Ranch. Chicken.
The Best Western Kota Hotel in Rapid City supports all South Dakota student athletes and their families. They are conveniently located off Interstate 90, close to downtown and minutes from the beautiful Black Hills. The Kota offers sports and family-friendly rates. Guests can relax for free in the indoor water park. They have 36,000 square feet of banquet and meeting space, and the award-winning Minerva's Restaurant and Bar is located on site. Best Western Kota welcomes everyone to beautiful Rapid City, South Dakota. The Best Western Kota Hotel in
Life's an adventure filled with excitement, challenges, and achievement. Farmers Union Insurance can provide you the safety net to keep you moving toward your goals and enjoying life's rewards. With multiple locations across the state, Farmers Union Insurance agents provide quick quotes and professional services you deserve. Since 1948, Farmers Union Insurance has focused on insuring the people of South Dakota. From the most remote quarter section to the busiest intersection, Farmers Union Insurance, insuring a brighter tomorrow. Life's.
Hey, Doug, how'd that discount double check work out for you?
Oh, that was great. Great. I wish I had double checked before discussing that play earlier.
Did anybody catch that play?
No.
Okay, we're going to act like we're debating about it. You two do the bouncy football thing. You rub your head like it's a real tough call. No, that looks like you're having a migraine. I'm going to break the huddle confidently, and we're going to call it incomplete.
Mic's on! First down! Thank you!
70,000 people were there.
20 million more watching at home.
Got it!
Save big with State Farm. When it comes to your money, who do you trust? A big city bank or a locally owned bank staffed by your neighbors and friends? A bank that offers home loans with no origination fees and a wide variety of accounts, including checking accounts built specifically to help community youth develop financial skills. When it comes to...
Maybe we'll wait one more minute. You tell me when you're ready, Andy, and we'll see if Jen gets on here.
The audio's a little better. Just remember to talk a little loud, but it's better with them closer. But you guys are live, so.
All right. We'll give Jen until I'm done stamping these checks. Oh, I think Jen is on. There she is. There she is. Perfect. All right, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order and start the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Any additions or corrections to the previous meeting minutes? I entertain a motion to approve. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Previous meeting minutes are approved. Any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda? Nancy, do you have any?
I would like to add an item to the agenda. Our pension fund needs to be closed out. This is the last year that we can have that particular fund. It needs closed out to the general fund with a motion. That amount currently on the financial statement for the pension to be transferred, $273,685.87. If I can do that now with the motion in May, then I can clean up some of the other things in June before the end of the fiscal year.
So, the new business L, pension fund closed and transferred to the general fund?
Yes.
And the recommendation would be to approve that transfer for, you say $273,685.87?
Correct.
Did I get that right? All right.
Yep.
Okay, so that'll be item L. Any other items for that add to the agenda?
I sent out a notice about the extra duty contracts. There are some new contracts that are included in that bulk, including Laurel Laubach for head volleyball, Brittany Little, assistant volleyball. I know we have both quiz bowls. We have a new quiz bowl at the middle school will be Betsy Lukinen. Let's see.
And Kristen Hausman.
Oh yeah, Chris Husband is coming back again. You know, she took part-time leave, so that was at the high school quiz bowl.
What do we have for openings?
We're down to, we have 7th and 8th grade girls basketball. Trying to think. Right now, we just found out we have wrestling, assistant wrestling. Opening.
Did we fill JV girls basketball?
We have not. We're talking about if we're going to, that if we're going to need more than 2 coaches.
Given the numbers.
Yeah, given numbers. We're going to wait on that to see here.
Can't fill it if we're not posting it.
Right. Yep.
The other extra duty contracts to be approved this evening will be the high school assistant wrestling coach, Jeremy Ask, Matt DeGeest as a high school assistant football coach, Taylor Fechner as a head boys basketball coach, Josie Johnson, assistant track, Mike Cooper, assistant boys basketball, Lisa Prees, cheer coach, Kyle Sewell, middle school wrestling, 7th and 8th grade head coach. Janelle Sear would do the kids in the middle. Greg Schultz, the head girls basketball coach. Parker Swanson, the assistant wrestling. And Karen Ulrichs in the middle school yearbook and web designer.
So those are part of?
Those will be part of the extra duty contracts in E.
Yep. Is there a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Who had the first?
Josh. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, agenda is approved with the amendment of new business L. Anybody have any conflicts of interest that they need to?
Just a question with me and setting the graduation date. I want to be part of the discussion, but if there's a vote needed, I don't know if that would be a conflict or not. So.
There's no pecuniary interest. I don't know that you would have a conflict with that necessarily, since there's no financial gain. You know, John, the secretary,
John, yeah.
with the secretary negotiation
Business, Jay.
you'll have to abstain, but I believe that's the only one I can think of.
All right, so consent, or conflict of interest will only be John abstaining from the secretary discussion. Other than that, we shouldn't have any other conflicts. Anybody? Anything else? Okay. Now on to consent agenda. Under consent agenda, we should be able to consent agenda old business A, new business A, B, C, D, E, F, and L, which was the addition. Does that sound right to everybody? Everybody okay with that? So what we'll be polling is the graduation date. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have it circled as pulling it with, or, you mean consent? We have to.
We have to pull it because of John? Or?
Yeah, we need to pull it because of John and also because we need to discuss it, it looks like an executive session on J. So the items we'll be discussing that won't be part of consent agenda will be the graduation date. I will formally recognize Teacher of the Year, school facilities, like for summer use, when we're going to open things up, proposed budget, set the budget hearing, secretary's negotiated agreement, and secretary contracts will be the things that we will pull. So I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda of old business A, new business A, B, C, D, E, F, and L. Motion by Jen Skiles. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Consent agenda has been approved. Public forum. We have a phone.
Yes, we do have a phone, the library set up.
What's the number? Is it the high school number?
It's the high school number, and the extension is, what is the extension for the library? I had it on the website at one time.
Is it on the prompt when you call it?
It is 169.
169.
All right. So extension 169, high school phone number is
764-2706, extension 169.
So we'll wait here a minute, give somebody a chance to dial in if they so wish to speak in open public speaking.
Russ said that's the number for Netta, her office number, maybe?
Yep, we have her office phone out here in the...
Okay.
That number again is 764-2706, extension 169.
All right, well, they're gonna move forward. If it does ring in the next, say, 5 minutes, we'll bring back to it after. In about 5 minutes, we are gonna close it. That'll give people opportunity till 7:15. So you have 5 minutes if you want to call it open public speaking. All right, on to payment of the bills. Nancy, is there any additions or corrections?
I do have one additional bill. Pitney Bowes for postage added to the meter. That amount was $1,000 even. Which gives you a new total for the general fund of $469,157.91. Just adds $1,000 to that total. That's the only additional bill that I have.
Good. Everybody should have a chance to review them. Any questions? Okay. Look for a motion to approve payment of the bills.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, payment of the bills is approved. On to the financial report.
The financial report for the month of April was part of your board packet. We received a dividend from Live Ticket, which is the broadcasting over the web of our activities. That was $5,728. You'll notice the special ed fund is still in the red. Taxes, we should get a first half of the 2019 paid in 2020 taxes coming up here in May. And we also applied for the extraordinary cost fund through the state in the amount of, I'll come back to that. There it is. $271,383. And we should find out the middle of May yet if we've been approved for that. Any questions on the financial statement?
All right, look for a motion to approve.
What if we don't get that grant, or that money?
What's that?
What happens if we don't get that money? What are the taxes, I guess?
Panic? I'm sorry, I can't resist. You can transfer funds from the general fund to the special ed fund. You can do it as a loan to be repaid in the next 2 years. I feel real good about getting that money from the state's extraordinary cost fund. They have surplus left in that fund from last year. And I believe there was 18 or 19 schools looking at using some of those funds for this year.
They approved it before, so.
Yeah.
Not guaranteeing it.
It's a really good chance that we will get those funds, and if not, then we'll have to look at other options using the general fund.
All right. Motion to approve financial report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Administrators' reports, should have had principal reports in our packets. Should have a chance to review those. Or they get emailed out?
They got emailed out. Russ is mainly the graduation, so he's available for that. And Gabe's, I know, emailed his out.
Yep. So, any questions for Russ or Gabe while they're here? Outside of graduation, obviously, we're going to discuss separately. All right. Nancy, do you have anything in your report?
I did want to just remind you that with Jen on Zoom meeting, all the motions we have are roll call vote, and that will be reflected in the minutes when you read those.
Thanks, that.
Also, I wanted to point out that the sack lunches that we're serving through the kitchen, the last day for that will be May 15th, which is this Friday. Our food service management company is Thrive, and their last day, according to the contract with them, is May 15th. That's all I have.
Okay. Terry?
I don't have anything additionally.
All right. So we will move on to old business B, graduation date. I think everybody should have received an email, the recommendation from the admin as far as graduation date. I believe that recommendation was July 24th.
Correct. Yeah.
At 10 a.m. And so I think everybody should have also received kind of the rationale behind that. And so I guess right now, I'm trying not to make this go all night, but I guess just open up to discussion amongst board members as thoughts, questions around the admin's proposal. I guess if people are watching online, so the proposal is July 24th at 10 a.m. slightly earlier in case we have to be outside to avoid the heat, as the end of July can be rather hot. Format to be determined based on, what's safe and what the state of South Dakota State Health Department is recommending. So if we're lucky, it'll be in the back and it'll be as normal as possible, maybe limited seating with some space between people. The next tier would be possibly at the football stadium if the weather permits, set the graduates up, 6 to 10 feet apart across the football field, and then just ask everybody attending the stadium to spread out. We have 2 sides, we can use both sides of the stadium, we can use the perimeter around the track for people to really spread out. And the final option, which hopefully we won't have to resort to, would be a parking lot graduation, where we would try to construct some sort of stage to elevate the graduates, possibly look at an FM transmitter, or some, renting a speaker system.
Yeah, or live stream something.
Yeah, or live stream it also.
The school's Wi-Fi.
So we would deal with that if we had to, and that would be, I guess, probably the worst case scenario. But we did, the administrator was hoping to kind of drive a stake in the ground so people could send out invitations and plan their summer.
Right, that was the main idea, is to try and pick a date so people knew for invitation purposes, pick a date, and depending on Department of Health guidelines at that time, that dictates what kind of a ceremony you have, but it's almost, I think, critical to pick a date.
So the question, and I did throw this out to 16 to 20 parents that I had contacts with, and there's a lot of concern about Friday. Friday morning specifically. Friday night would be a little better, understand the heat. The first choice was Saturday, second choice Sunday afternoon, or Friday night.
Right.
But when I said Friday morning, not one was in big favor of that. And primarily because of most people, if they're working, especially in the healthcare field now, they're being limited on the vacation that they can take. People traveling, you got to take a Thursday and a Friday off, not just a Friday, and that was the main concern.
And the reason we're thinking that Friday is, as things begin to open up, we suspect there's going to be conflicts arise. We thought usually when there's a conflict, it's on the Saturday, not so much on the Friday. But there's nothing real purposeful about that Friday, other than that it maybe eliminates a potential conflict if something else is going on that weekend. I would think families will, with a graduate, I think I know what their priority will be if there is a conflict, and I doubt we can avoid every conflict that could possibly come up.
And we discussed Friday and Saturday when I let the administrators to kind of go through the recommendation, and they were kind of recognize those exact same concerns. And the biggest thing was, are people going to say, oh, we have a family reunion, we're leaving town, and that's Saturday. That being said, we did kind of discuss that would probably come up, and that the board really needs to make that decision of whether it's a Friday or Saturday. I just asked the admin to put together a proposal, and we would make the decision.
My own thought was just why so late. I mean, to me, I don't think the kids are going to enjoy it as much being as late as it is, because that's people are going up to college. They're thinking college now and stuff. And I know my nephew, of course, he's the superintendent of a smaller district, but they're having theirs in June 24th outside football field. I mean,
And the reason for it so late was that was really largely senior dictated, and we want the best chance we can have to have traditional
yeah.
as much as we can have. And so that was, I think, the administration's desire to push it late was really listening to them. And the exact same concerns were discussed amongst the admin, are people going to...
That was just my only thought. I said, I don't have anybody involved, so it's just...
They're doing a prom the week before, right?
That's what was discussed, and so I can understand going after that, because you want to kind of want graduation as the finale.
Yeah.
But is that date set in stone yet? The prom?
The prom date? I guess I can't answer that, because it's after prom. That's been, they've got, they have cleared it with the school. If they need to use our facilities, we've got it blocked off. If they can have it here and whatever else. we're making the facilities available if they can host it on that date.
That was another one of the.
Would it make sense to have graduation that Sunday? Or not? Not to do it, like to do it, so if somebody, people are gonna come, do it one weekend versus
There's a lot of work for moms and people
Yeah.
that are involved with prom and graduation.
Yeah, the kids are up all night.
Yeah, that did come up, we talked about it last time too.
Well, and are they having no full prom or not? 'Cause
I have not heard details on what's been discussed other than after prom.
My only thing is, I don't think I'd do it on a Friday, for sure. Whether you have it in July or you have it in June, I think a Friday to me, no. I mean, because there'd be people that maybe I want to go to, same thing like she was saying, we're working rotating shifts, we can't take vacation and stuff right now, and we'd probably be lucky to take vacation at the end of summer, so I think a lot of people are gonna get, and family members that wanna go are gonna be able to. Grandparents maybe, because they're retired, but grandparents work still too. That's just my thought.
The preference, be like a Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday was far and above, again, and I'm only basing this on about 20 people that I talked to, that I had the luxury of. Quickly, when I saw the email, I sent a text out, and that's, Saturday was first, but Sunday afternoon, that was okay too. And that weekend is gonna be busy, because it is, I guess, Canton, some city.
It's, it doesn't matter what, there's gonna be conflicts no matter what we do.
I think you stay the weekend though, it's gotta be a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
And it may be, travel may or may not be, we may be limiting to immediate family in the, we'll do it in the pack.
And there's nothing golden about that Friday or Saturday, July 24th or 25th. What we heard was we want the best chance, the feedback we got from parents, the best chance to have a traditional ceremony. What does a traditional graduation ceremony look like during a pandemic? That's a good question. Will you be able to sit next to your friends? Will you have a band there? Will you have every relative able to attend, indoor in the pack? I think for the most part, they want to make sure we have something, and we are going to have something. We have to have something. I just think it's important to set a date so that everyone knows they can get invitations out, whether it's before or after that prom, whether or not they have that, able to have that or not, I don't know. But I think it's just important that the board sets a date and then leave the details to the administration based on.
They might adjust accordingly if you wanted to do graduation sooner, that they might. Because from what I understand, it's not going to be quite as big of a thing as I think normally is.
From what I understand, they were basing it around the hypnotist dates.
Kind of sounds like, there seems to be a consensus maybe to move it to Saturday, maybe July 25th then. Seems like a lot of our board. I didn't talk to really as many senior parents, but the few I talked to raised no concern about having it that late, especially when I explained why. They're like, that makes sense. That's only senior.
If we did it on Saturday, would it be like morning or evening?
Probably be morning, because most likely it may be outside, and then with the heat in July, you'll probably want to get it like at 10 o'clock or something like that, I would say. Before it gets to.
Was July 25th, and then from the parents you talked to, seemed like a.
Yeah, there was one that would prefer it not, but the rest of them were.
And it doesn't matter what we're do.
I know, we're not gonna make everybody.
Somebody's gonna, we could run into college camps and kids that are underreporting for sports too. That might actually be good. If you go earlier in the summer, you may lose some college athletes. Or late July, should we go, isn't there a window from summer camp to practice start at the end of July?
I'm guessing that most colleges will start like August 1st.
Yeah.
Like that Monday after, so August 3rd probably. They'll get 2 weeks in, and then the first game's probably, I would say, the 29th of August.
But they'll have like team camps sometime earlier in the summer too, right?
I think, well, I know USD, I'm guessing SDSU and others have essentially canceled most camps. Because most of them were, I think were, I want to say late June or like right after the 4th type thing. I think that, I know like basketball is canceled for sure. That was June 27th and 8th or something like that.
All I saw on USD was they canceled hosting camps. I didn't know if they actually canceled their athlete camps.
Their athlete camps, I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about, so.
They're gonna have their gatherings. No matter
That's what I
what.
mean, so what I'm wondering is, so we have a handful of seniors that are gonna be playing college sports.
When's usually the all-star game, like football game?
It's South Dakota High School Activity Association Conference, which is end of July, right?
I don't know if
That's early, I think it's the weekend after the 4th of July. I've been to it for a few years.
I think it's like right after that, I believe. Well, that's 20 years ago.
Things have
Lots
changed.
probably changed since then.
But in the All-Star games are always like, they kick off the coaches' clinic, that way the coaches can watch the kids.
I'm guessing you'll be okay by then because they're gonna be in full swing getting ready for the season, so I don't think you're gonna have a problem with like high school camps or like college camps or something like that.
Kind of sounds like July 25th is the consensus.
So moved.
All right, 10 a.m. was the recommendation in case we have.
Does Jen have anything or?
She's been texting me, she's very much on board with July 25th at 10 a.m. Right, Jen?
Crystal, do you think parents will be okay with Saturday then?
Yeah, well, like I said, the ones I talked to, I had one that was like, but they said they understand. I did just get a text and had said from one of the prom coordinators, it said graduation's more important. So, if we wanted to go the weekend before, they said they could maybe get it earlier, the prom time.
Just flip-flop the two?
So, we could do, if they wanted to go for that Saturday, what would it be?
The 18th, I think.
18th.
Yeah.
It is a week earlier.
To me, it doesn't matter, obviously to me, but it's probably more to the. With it being Canton days, I don't know how much that'll affect
Are they
it.
for sure doing it? I guess I don't know.
The mornings are not too terrible, I think there's just some stuff in the park going on is all the time. At 10 a.m., might actually bring people into town for Canton days. So it might be a positive thing. So there's a motion on the floor for July 25th at 10 a.m. Is there a second? There's a second. Is there any more discussion?
There's a second.
Josh? Any further discussion?
I have no,
Yeah. You are the strong voice here. Whether you want to be or not.
We have to set a date.
things, should be opened up quite a bit by then. Things are opening up now. My guess is that there's gonna be an uptick in positives between now and probably the middle of June, end of June. So if by then, I would think if things proceed the way they are proceeding, there should be some sort of normalcy there.
Yeah, I think it
even maybe by the 18th, but obviously the longer you let it go, the better it'll be.
Have any other parents called into the school at all, is anything?
No, they have not. I've had people call concerned, making sure we have a ceremony, which, I totally get that, and we are gonna have that. It's the culminating activity of our school year. It's why we exist. So we will have a graduation ceremony. Really just the conditions at that time really dictate what kind of a ceremony we have.
Well, the problem's already got the date kind of set, then I think instead of having them go through all the work to reschedule.
Yeah.
Let's,
Let's proceed with the roll call vote.
Tanya?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
Jen? Aye. Todd?
Aye.
Did I get everybody?
Crystal.
That's okay. I'll do it.
I didn't want you to go first, that's why I went to Tanya. I'm sorry. Yours was an aye as well. The motion carried.
All right, motion carries. The graduation date will be July 25th, Saturday, July 25th at 10 a.m. The format will be determined in the weeks prior. How soon before that will be yet to be seen, but we're going to leave that in the hands of our very capable administrators to work out all those details. All right, on to new business G and recognition of Teacher of the Year for 2020.
Right. You know, we had nominations for Teacher of the Year, a number of nominations, but the way the school year went, I mean, the way our staff stepped up, talking about teachers getting out of their comfort zone, doing things they've never done before, it's hard. It is really challenging in a year like this to recognize one teacher as your Teacher of the Year. And the idea that came out of the Canton K-12 Foundation, the group was like, maybe we should recognize them all this year. And I thought that was an excellent idea. And we recognize all of our teachers for the commitment that they've made this year in trying to meet the needs of our students during these extraordinary times. It seems very fitting and appropriate that we would do that. So I recommend that we nominate and recognize and honor our teachers, all our teachers, as our Teacher of the Year. A unique year and maybe a nice way to recognize them all.
Absolutely. It's challenging is probably understatement of a year that our teachers have faced and our students. And I mean, everywhere I've looked and every interaction I've had, I've just been amazed at the way our teachers, our administration, our support staff, I mean, everybody's responded in the face of this, and everybody having patience and perseverance and determination to do what's best for students and get through it. So it's been phenomenal. So with that, I'll make a motion to recognize our entire teacher staff as the 2020 Teachers of the Year. Second. Roll call.
I know the patience of the first and third grade teachers are listening to on Zoom in our office, and they got 20 students on Zoom. It's just, some of the jokes I learned were pretty good. So show and tell was pretty good, entertaining. So kudos to the teachers. So.
Josh?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tanya? Aye. Crystal?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
And Jen? Aye. Motion carries.
Motion carries. And I know a number of the teachers are watching out there, so I just want to give you a round of applause. Thank you very much for all you do. All right, new business H. On to school facilities and when to open them and under what kind of guidance as far as summer use. We have a number of coaches looking to start working with their athletes on some sort of basis. I believe the state has said June 1.
You're right, they're currently under a moratorium until June 1st, so right now they cannot meet with their athletes or coach them or host open gyms up here or any of that. So, but June 1st they are removing the moratorium, and so we have not only coaches and our weightlifting coach and individual coaches, but been approached by driver's ed. Are we going to be able to do driver's ed? And what we'd like to do is do driver's ed starting that Monday, June 29th. And 2 kids per car. They just have to do the driving portion. I've talked to Mr. Joslin, who both him and Mr. Anderson do the driving. They think they can get it all done in the summertime if they get 2 of them going at the same time.
June 29th, the start time, or?
June 29th, yeah, which is a Monday. I guess what I'm thinking.
Which they don't have a lot of, I mean, it's not like a lot of students in the cars. So,
Right, it'd be
I mean,
one
for them.
Yeah, it'd be the 2 students in the car, and of course the instructor, and what they do, everyone would wear a mask, they'd have to wipe down the steering wheel, the controls, seat belts, all that kind of stuff in between. We even talked about have their temperature taken in the office before being allowed to go out and get in the car, before they leave, because they usually are here, before they drive. And, so we can do a quick
Make sure they're cooled down before you take their temperature, otherwise you take it, as soon as they get inside from hot temperature, they're gonna have 100.
That's very true.
So.
Yeah. So those are things that we're looking at, and I'm thinking like with the open gyms or weightlifting that we limit it to 10 people per room. We have Latchkey opening up next Monday, and she's got it broke down into 4 pods, I believe. Less, 10 people, that includes the instructor and 9 students, or the coach and 9 athletes, or whatever. You can start that June 1st. I know next month we have our board meeting is the second Mondays as early as it can possibly be. It's the June 8th. So I mean, at that time, I think if you want to open it more, or if something happens and I got to pull back the reins, but I would sure like the board to know my intentions to begin opening up the weight rooms, the gyms to 10 students or 10 people per.
Well, the whole thing is too, it's up to me, I think it's up to the students and the parents too. If they don't feel comfortable, then they shouldn't.
Right.
I mean, we need to start getting somewhat back to normal,
Agreed.
Can we follow the state's recommendations and just give you guys the authority based on that versus, because what happens, the end of May, whatever, you can open it up to say 20 or whatever. I mean,
right.
Just give you guys the authority to go based on the state's recommendations, because I know they're starting to open things up in Sioux Falls, and obviously that could
trickle down
to us.
Yeah.
I mean, they're starting to open up gyms and swimming. I mean, I know my brother heard that they opened up the aquatic center where his daughter does swimming and stuff out in Rapid. So I mean, they are starting to open things up.
We can definitely reflect that in the motion. I'd like to see it formal from the board though, so that it's, it's not organized. And maybe you don't even want that ability, maybe we just.
Well, I mean, we could state it like that right now since we have a meeting June 8th.
Right. We're gonna have a meeting June 8th, so the reality is we're only going.
We can set it as a 10 right now.
1 week of limited, and we can open it up. I know Coach Plucker has already made plans to limit, her space to 10. It may be 10 in the weight room and 10 on one half of the gym and 10 on another half of the gym, and keeping them separate. I mean, so she's already making plans for that.
So what if they go outside? I mean, obviously if you're outside,
I think we're more on a
conditioning
conditioning
piece.
Spread them out.
Yeah, I think we gotta trust our coaches. I mean, we give them some guidance. We gotta trust their judgment to do it appropriately. I mean, we can't be the police out there with a tape measure when they're outside jogging and say, oh my gosh, you're 5.5 feet apart. But I visit with the administration about their recommendation. I think it's good to open things back up June 1.
So how would you like that motion? I mean, you want just inside limited to 10 as of right now?
Groups of 10, and then we'll just, June 8th.
Obviously proper hand hygiene and cleaning and so on and so forth.
Yeah, take proper precautions. Be the way, groups of 10 and take proper precautions, and then we'll revisit on June 8th at that board meeting. Hope we can open it up, and if we can't open it up June 8th, maybe we'll get to July.
I mean, because isn't there a net or something you get put down too?
In the auxiliary gym, there is a net that divides it.
Like I was talking about before, you could have 10 on one side and 10 on the other, and still have plenty of space in between.
And 10 more in the weight room.
The custodians are resealing the floors right now. They started that today, so get that.
So I guess I would make the motion to allow administration to open up on June 1st with the precautions of limiting to 10 people in area that they deem safe, and then revisit it on June 8th at our board meeting.
Do we want to add to the motion that the parks and stuff would stay closed though? Or do we want to put that, because depending on what the city does though too. I mean, right now all parks are closed, so.
Including,
Including our school playgrounds.
Yeah.
Do we need to keep them closed?
What's that?
Living or?
Well, we'll be opening those up to our own kids' latchkey next Monday. which-
If we don't, we have to basically fence off the entire back of the elementary school. Right now, it looks like the virus survives very minimal time in sunlight.
Really?
Well,
Ultraviolet light.
the ultraviolet, saying like a minute and a half, but obviously it's gotta be warmer than 20.
Yeah, I don't have any problem.
Too bad we didn't have those little metal sleds that made up to 95.
And so by the time the last day kids go out, if there was kids on it the day before, it's basically sanitized itself from the coronavirus. Now, there's a lot of other crowd they can pick up, but they can pick that up all year. So, right, there's a motion, is there a second? Any more discussion? Roll call.
Crystal?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Tanya?
Aye.
Jen?
Motion carries. All right, on to proposed budget for 2021, and then to set the budget hearing date.
I sent you the proposed budget for 2021 as a PDF file to your email, and I also had copies for you this evening. And I have extra copies here if you need an extra one for any reason. The proposed budget is a work in progress. We start this a week after the previous one was adopted. So it's a process so that you have comparisons for prior years, projections for the coming years, and kind of let you know where things are at. The first page behind the cover is the compiled. This is what will go in the paper. It just shows the different expenses by the function areas, the different types of receipts coming in for each of the funds, total appropriations and means of finance. Proposed budget hearing, when we decide that date and time, that's part of the public notice that goes in the paper. That goes in before the July board meeting, so at the end of June. Over the years, we've put together this spreadsheet that does our budget projections. We are projecting our enrollment up there in the top left-hand corner for the fall to be around 875. This is a conservative number. And you take and divide that 875 by 15, and that's how we are funded. That's 58.33 number of teachers that we are funded by. I have used a 0% increase to this proposal. At first, we thought they were going to have a special session the end of June. Now it might be in September instead. And we don't know what's going to happen to our finances, to our funding. So I've used 0. The 34.97 for all other, that is 31% for all other expenses besides teachers and benefits. It's 31%, and then the other revenue equalization makes up the rest of that percentage. What they take from all of the districts as local revenue, and then they consider that part of the other compensation total when they do the calculation. LEP students, that's English, our language, what's that stand for? Second
Limited
language?
English
Limited
proficiency.
English proficiency. So then, that's general, state aid and tax together is our need, $5,116,326. We then subtract what's being equalized from the other revenue sources. So we subtract $124,979. Bottom line is the net new funds for the coming year will be a negative. We'll lose money, $208,000. Teacher accountability, you have to be equal to or greater than the average compensation from 2016-17. And we have that with for the coming year, it's over 3,087. So we've met the accountability. On the next page, we just get into projections using those enrollment numbers for the coming years. How the formula would play out if it's at a 0% for the coming year and 1% for the years after. We've also increased our expenses for the coming years, looking at an average expense increase of 1.2%. And then down at the bottom of that page, your total revenues less your total expenses, our net profit loss would be a negative $523,364. Now that's before any capital outlay flexibility dollars are used. And also consider that we have to move the pension fund into the general fund. So on the next page, just pointing out that transfer will take place this year for the pension, and using $250,000 next year of the capital outlay flexibility. We would show a decrease in our fund balance then for $273,000. Our percentage of fund balance would drop from the almost 28% this year projected to next year 23%. We've projected that out through 24-25. You can kind of see what that percent of fund balance and what the cash flow looks like for those years to come. Transfer from capital outlay flexibility increases. There's so many variables between now and 24-25 year that you can take a good guess and see where it ends up.
That based on enrollment?
Yes. Yes.
That 28%, you still have to move money out of there to get below that 25%, then, correct?
Say that again?
It has to be less than 25%?
The cash balance has to be less than 25. This is actually a fund balance.
Okay.
And we should be fine because that cash balance is 25% of your year prior expenses.
Those 2024 projections too, getting us down to 18% is also based on us losing 40 students between now and then. So it's certainly, it's good to know that where we'd be, but let's hope that doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
We should have a lot of pandemic babies coming out of school by then.
We can only hope.
That year, right?
The typed out first Word document just gets into the valuations. We know what the valuations will be for the 2019 tax paid in 2020 and the mill levy. We know what the mill levy is for the next one, but the estimated values is shown there using a different percentage of increase. The state aid and tax together equals that need. So whether it comes from the state or from taxes, we know what that total dollar amount will be. It's just a matter of where it comes from. For the general fund anyway, special ed fund, we use those same estimated values with the set mill levy. We should be able to receive about $96,000 more in special ed fund in taxes. However, the formula there for special ed also uses your maximum taxes first, and then the state pays a difference. So it's not like the increase in taxes is going to give you that increase in revenue. It'll decrease the state's part. Capital Outlay Fund is on the next page. They changed this a few years ago, and we're still working through how the best way to come up with those estimates are. It isn't until September that we know what the growth factor will be, and we have to adopt our budget before that. So working with the county auditor in July, we come up with what we think is a good number to ask for in dollars for the Capital Outlay Fund. Last year, and compared to what we think for the coming school year, is an increase of about $60,673 in revenue. And you can see what the levy has done then for capital outlay there. For 19 paid in 2020, $2.70. And 2020 taxes paid in 21, we don't know what that amount will be yet. The debt service fund, the bonds, we look at what we actually need for payments for the fiscal year, determine the amount of money that can be raised with both valuations in those two different tax years to come up with the amount of money needed. General fund balance history, just some history there for the prior years showing you the beginning balances, revenues, expenses, the profit loss margin, the ending fund balance, and what that percentage is. So many times we get asked, it's difficult to find where that information is located, so we put it right there. The next page is the state aid budget calculator. That's just where those numbers previously come from that I had on that other spreadsheet to start. Enrollment numbers projected out. And Gabe, I need some more kids for kindergarten. The planning calendar goes in here so that we know where to find it. Same with the health insurance rates. There is no increase to the premium. The plans will stay the same at $1,000, $2,500, or $5,000 deductible. What the board pays is shown down at the bottom. $620 for teachers, custodians, secretaries, and nurse. And the aides benefit is $445. If the aides do not take the health insurance, they receive $75 a month to be used for whatever type of insurance or annuity that they prefer to have. The proposed hiring schedule that was set through negotiations is an increase of 200 on the base, and that's what we use for hiring. On the next page, it's just doing our average salaries, FTE, our teacher count, salaries and benefits. We give you a general running total, general fund proposed budget for 2021, where we started for this year at $6,058,000. What the changes actually relate to for a total increase to the budget of $131,312. Now we did have salaries increase. However, we had a higher end teacher retire, and that money was absorbed back in. So that's why it looks a little bit less of an increase than what you might have expected. General fund proposed revenue. These also relate to the numbers on that first spreadsheet that we looked at. This gives you a little bit of history, what the budget is for the current year, what we've received through April. For the general fund, that percentage is almost 68% that we've received of the budget so far. Our fiscal year ends June 30th for the revenue sources. And for the expenses, however, some of those expenses are payables and set up so they won't actually go out as a payment till July, August. General fund proposed budget is numbered page 14. On These are by function, so each of the different areas that we keep track of, this is what was spent through April and what's also proposed. I also have it broke down by the objects, by salary, social security, retirement, health insurance, supplies, everything like that. I didn't give the detail in this particular budget proposal, but if you are interested in those numbers, I can get them for you. Capital outlay, that's exactly the same as what we looked at last time. I've just made copies of that to keep the full budget together. None of those numbers have changed, other than showing what was received or spent through April. Darren's been already starting on projects for the summer months that will be part of next year's budget expense. And one of the things you mentioned earlier was with the special ed fund, if we didn't get that extraordinary cost money, we would go back to the capital outlay and look at some of those projects so that we would have the money to transfer to the general fund, to be used by the general fund, so that money could free up general fund money for special ed if needed. We have a lot of out-of-district placement. Well, I think it's a lot of. And then special ed starts on page 29 for the expenses. We have to break those out by day programs and residential programs. And we have it coded for each of the individuals that we serve. And those are all based on their IEPs, and we are obligated for those expenses through their IEPs. The co-op assessments are there, student transportation. And as I had mentioned, we're applying for the extraordinary cost in the amount of $271,383. The bond redemption is strictly tax revenue that's collected to pay down the bonds. And I've attached a schedule for the debt service. The bonds is on that first one, that's numbered page 3. And it doesn't look like we need to. Capital outlay had the certificates with that in the capital outlay budget. It didn't make it to this one, see. Food service. Tonight we adopted or made the motion to go with contracted service with Lunchtime Solutions. The numbers for revenue and expenses for a self-operating food service, well, not managed service. Our food service is a standalone fund. The revenues need to meet its expenses. So whatever we figure out for expenses to work with Lunchtime Solutions, the revenue will correspond to that, and these numbers will change for the budget. And the other thing is the food service proposal was giving us a profit of $10,461 or something like that. The intent is to go renegotiate somewhat with them so that the food service workers will get a higher hourly rate of pay, which in turn will lower our net profit for the food service fund, but we'll still be looking at $5,000.
What can you do with that money?
What can I do with that?
Yeah.
Has to be used for food service. I
Yeah.
can buy equipment.
Can you provide meal or food for over like Christmas breaks and stuff like that?
No.
You have to be 50% free and reduced in order to offer over the summer and over breaks.
Right.
You have your free and reduced population has to be at a certain threshold in order to do that.
And the only reason we can do it now with the pandemic is that they passed a waiver, the federal government waivered its requirements.
can buy new lunch tables, I suppose, you can buy stoves, walk-in coolers,
I just
walk-in
didn't know,
freezers.
like, our fund, we do like 100 eggs for kids over Christmas break.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know if that money could go towards that, because we're seeing an increase in that. We're even
I don't
doing
believe so.
30 of them over in Inwood, like 100 of them here.
So unfortunately, this is the budget that we have essentially no say in. The federal government controls nearly.
Well, I
last
just
piece
think
of
I
it.
think it going towards food and it goes towards,
Yeah.
storage kids.
Right.
But
Even trying to talk about, can we just make our lunches a little cheaper? No, we can't, just.
With that in mind, lunch is cheaper. The proposal was put together with no increase in lunch prices for the coming year. This will be 4 years, I believe, in a row that we haven't increased our lunch prices. Now, the paid lunch equity tool says we need to raise them a nickel, but they waived that for all districts for the last couple of years. We also are the third lowest in the state of 191 different reporting school districts. Timberlake and, what was it, Dolan? Dolan are less per meal than we are. Otherwise, we've got the best price for a student lunch.
Third lowest price in the state.
Yep. And they keep telling us each year that we have to spend down our fund balance for food service because we have more than what's allowed, so. Yeah, just a little side note. So that's the proposed budget. We went through it kind of quick. If you have questions when you look through it on your own, please give me a call and we can work through where the numbers came from. Sad to say that it's probably all subject to change if the legislators decide to do something different with the funding. The other thing that would change it positively is if we had more kids enrolled.
So if they don't have a special session until September, do we have to hold off on some of the capital outlay stuff that we do, just in case?
We have to publish, or we have to adopt the budget by October, it has to be printed by October 1st. What did you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
it was?
You have to have it approved and in the
September.
minutes.
I know, but even, do you hold off on some of those items, just, some of those priority items, just in case?
We were looking at resurfacing the track, that's like 130,000.
That one will wait.
That one we're gonna hold on, because that wasn't, we weren't gonna do that until June, the very end of next, so a year from now.
Okay, I was just making,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
You need something there just in case, a
I don't
project.
need to get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah.
Right, no,
Just in
we have
case.
to
Okay.
hold up on that. Things like computers, we've got those ordered for the coming year. He's lined up the contractors to do the cement work at the field. Desk, if we had some carpeting ordered, we had some carpeting, some student desks.
The boiler at the elementary is a big one, I mean, that's something that needs to be.
Well, the track, I mean, that's,
Yeah,
that could wait
That one
another
could
year.
Yeah.
so.
Yep, so that's kind of what we have earmarked right now. If things go bad, we'll have to wait another year to resurface the track.
Wasn't used this year, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it had light use. Well, I don't know, there's been a lot of community members out there. I've actually heard about that, where people have thanked us for keeping the track open so people can walk. That is probably what I've heard most of, actually.
Any questions at this time?
Thanks, Nancy.
Do we need to set the hearing, or is it already set?
We do need to have a budget hearing set. We usually have it during our annual meeting in July, which this time would be July 13th. And we've had it at 8 o'clock before, so it's ever you want to set for a day and time.
Make a motion to set the hearing of July 13th, 8 p.m.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Crystal? Aye. Todd?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tanya? Scott?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
And Jen? Budget hearing is set.
All right, budget hearing set. Last thing on the agenda is to do a secretary, negotiate agreements, contracts. So we'll have to go to an executive session first before we come back for that. Let's take a quick 5-minute recess before we go into executive session. If it wants to further water, we need to. And then we'll give everybody a chance to clear out too, when it needs to. And we'll be back in 5 minutes for executive session.
So when we go come out of executive session, do we have to start that back up or not?
Technically, I suppose we should.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once it's off, I can't start it back up.
Oh, you can't.
Well, we can do executive session.
I say you just have to move the location, but it's just one event, so if I shut the event off, it's done. I'd have to make a second.
Executive session back here, and then we'll come out here. So if you want to hang out on the live stream,
Mr. Stephenson.
I'll be in
Ms. Dawes, so, yeah.
Tanya, did you have any extra meetings during?
What month for
It would be April.
Yeah, we had a latchkey meeting. Then,
Oh, yeah, latchkey.
latchkey.
I still call it that.
Just one meeting for latchkey or more than that?
No, we just had the one. Jen and John had the food service.
Yep, I got that.
Let's see, we had any other?
Executive session, that's what we vote.
Question for you.
Yeah.
I was gonna call you anyway, but have you guys maybe talked anything about, or the state superintendents or anything about athletic physicals? Because we were gonna send a letter out, because some places,
I had to
like
call
in
me.
Nebraska.
I had to call already for them out there for my kids.
Yeah, so, well, like Nebraska, there's just got an email just now from where that Wynot school is in Nebraska. They're accepting they're accepting last year's physicals for next so essentially negating that, but.
I know Mr. Knudsen and I talked a little bit about that this morning, or earlier today. And I said, our clinic is open. I mean, I was just there last Friday and took a physical.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to have all the healthy people come in the morning or the afternoon. And then after that, there's like nobody from like 2 until 5, so we essentially come out whenever, but.
Like I said, they called, which was nice because I
we're
wasn't even
gonna.
on my radar, with the way school's been and stuff, and they called and said, hey, you want some of your physicals already? And
good.
so
Yeah, we're working on the well, but we'll probably be sending a letter out. I just didn't know if you guys decided to do that, because I don't know if that's a great thing or, a bad thing, but.
we might want to send it just a text reminder, because like I said.
Yeah.
Well, we were gonna have you guys send.
Yeah, we should send that out as a reminder to do it. I think there's more of a risk if you put off the physicals for a year, then you have a risk from the corona or COVID-19, I think.
So, okay, well, we'll probably send Karen a letter to send out at some point. I know Beer's for her to this, so.
Yeah, I know earlier they were talking about that. Are we going to be able to do physicals?
I
Should we wait that
just
year?
don't want to come end of July and everybody wants their physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any
Yeah, I know. Latchkey meeting.
Latchkey? Anything else? Policy, negotiations? Secretaries, do we have to meet? Did they have one?
We had a negotiation, but I don't know if we got that last time.
Yeah.
You did that last time?
We just have the ones. Because
Scott, how about you? Did you have
some of our
one?
teachers.
Josh, I already asked you, right? You didn't have any?
Look for a motion to go in executive session according to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, preparing for contract negotiations or negotiating with employees or employee representatives.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call. Is there any discussion?
Crystal? Aye. Todd?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tanya?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
Jen? Aye.
All right, we'll head back here. All right.
right, Jen, we're walking.
Hold on, Jen.
It shouldn't take long.
Last time you said you didn't get to see everybody, so. Are you coming in here?
Yep.
Let's just shut the light off in here. Jen.
Any preference of who you look at right now?
Turn it around so people on video can see it. You know, they can't see her.
You can look at the general public. Good idea. All right, now I'm going to declare us out of executive session and entertain a motion to accept the negotiated contract that the Secretary Negotiations Committee brought forward. Explain the details of that. So, is there a motion? Is there a second? Second. Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All right, proceed with the roll call vote.
Crystal? Aye. Todd?
Aye.
John?
Abstain.
Tanya?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
Jen? Aye.
Motion carries. All right.
Now I need a motion to offer contracts to them.
Oh, and then we need a motion to offer contracts to the secretaries.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. Roll call.
Crystal? Aye. Todd?
Aye.
John?
Abstain.
Tanya?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
And Jen? Aye.
All right. That is it for the agenda. Next scheduled meeting, Monday, June 8th at 7 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? You want a roll call for this too? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Meeting adjourned. All right. Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Good luck.
I believe we're still recording too, live streaming.
She's gone.
I made a deal with my barber. She said that so she can cut my hair, I can't shave my beard either.
Thanks, everybody.
These are all contracts. Do you want to stamp those, or do you want me to stamp them tomorrow?
We gotta go back to the fields.
Oh, yeah.
You're lucky to shower.
Enough time to shower and get here?
Yeah.